today we're down here, we're going to do an inspection on an impeller. We're actually going to change it, but they went out for a boat sail, ran it up to speed, everything was good. We're getting ready to come back to the dock and it overheated. So we're going to start with changing out the impeller, which thus we have to isolate our system. Go ahead and close the valve. I'm going to get set up to drain our sea strainer, and then we're going to go back to the boat, go around, go over a bed. We will be over where the impeller is. So I'm going to grab some tools and we will start with draining the sea strainer out. So now we have the valve closed. We'll go ahead and take our plug out of the bottom here. Try to drain as much of this water out of the system as we can. Okay, so I grabbed a screwdriver. Screwdriver is a little bit too long. Let's use a short screw. Doesn't take a whole lot to get all the crud out of it. So we'll go ahead and let this drain all the way out. We'll go ahead and loosen the caps. Introduce some air. So with our overheat, one of the things we're going to want to do is check our strainer. Make sure that we didn't suck up a bunch of seaweed, but as you can see, it's pretty clean. There's just a tiny bit in the bottom. But it's not going to stop the flow of trying to get water over to our impeller. So we can go ahead and stick that back in there. Let this finish draining out the rest of the way. And we'll go ahead and put the plug back in, put our cap back on. It's just right about here. So another couple seconds and we'll be good. Okay, now that we're all drained out. Tighten that back up. Put our plug back in. Alright, so now we'll move out of here, inside the boat, through the cabin, to the other side for access. Take the cover off, and we'll start seeing what we have. So we'll start by taking off the cover plate for this Cummins 5.9 marinized port engine. Not a whole lot of room. So you should in a second, once I loosen this last bolt up, start getting some water out of here. So if the cover is stuck sometimes, you need to take a screwdriver and pop it loose. Get our cover out of the way. first look doesn't look terrible, but maybe there's some missing veins. I can't quite tell. Let's pull it out and see what it looks like. Okay, so we have the cover off. Our large tool is going to be a good candidate for this one. A little bit further review. It's pretty beat up. So, to start, we are going to wind this out until it's flush with the bottom of our strong back. Strong back, flush. We are going to set both the arms at a parallel and more position, which they are. We're going to pick 2 spots that we can fit it in there away from the cam. As you can see, it's pretty tight right here. So I'm going to slide it kind of in through here and get it in there, and then we'll go ahead and tighten this portion up. Just going to squeeze our arms in and allow the teeth, these sharp pointy teeth, to set into the rubber, and then we just use our 9/16 to pull with the assist of our bearing as we're hand tightening it in. So with one hand, go ahead and slide it in here. Find a Okay, so we're all the way in. Go ahead and tighten it up with one hand. Just switch. Okay, so if we try to get this in here, we can try to get one of our knobs, like, I don't know which way you do it, this way, but you can't actually get to the knob that's in here, so, which is then going to force the tool to one way, and it's not really going to work great. Or we could try to do it this way, but then it's going to hit our engine block, and we're going to be stuck again. So not only that, but if we try to do our T-handle, that our T-handle is going to be up against. So this is the small tool, but you can see the body of it overlaid. Everything is behind here. So to tighten our arms down, yeah, even here's the smaller one too. Even to tighten the arms down, we can do it from behind. Whereas these ones are, I mean, that's twice the width of the tool or more. All right, so we'll go ahead and wind our long threaded rod in until it touches. We'll grab our tool. We're starting to move now. I know it's a little bit slow, but we're not slipping. We're just slowly driving it out. And then not a lot of pressure either. So we're not working against threads. It's just not, I'd say it's still fast. So I'm in a pretty awkward position right now too, trying to be able to see what this all looks like as I'm coming out. But here in another 15 seconds or so, we'll have it all the way out, and we'll be able to see how beat up this thing is, because it's not looking good. All right, let's see if I can get my fingers in here. Yeah, we're gonna be playing a game of hide and find. Okay, so we pulled it out. Obviously, we're missing and dealing with a very damaged impeller that is no longer going to be pumping at a rate that it should be. But when we look at it, we can see all this dust, which makes me believe that there might have been something that had got in and actually caused a loss in water flow. So I think why this got so destroyed is the fact that we lost water, because normally you wouldn't see all this debris hang with it. So I do believe that this thing got hot, and you can see on the end too how it looks like it's kind of pooched and softened. The thing to do would be to check the other side and see what it looks like, but I have a feeling that we're dealing with a something that got over the suction or the outside of the boat, or sea strain, or somewhere on the suction side of this pump. So that's where we're going to start. One other thing I wanted to note too is that I put this in there pretty blindly with one hand, and as we went and tightened it up, if you can you see down the bore of this? See how centered that is? And then if we wiggle it around, it's not actually touching it. So that's why it was so easy when we went to go pull it out, because it really, well, I can wind it all the way through more, but you can see this tool compared to the Jabsco ones too is that you have those knobs, so you're going to be moving it over. So you might be fighting something like, wow, this impeller is really stuck, but it could just be the force of having a crooked aligned tool, and then you're going to be more mad when it just decides to fall off. So another great benefit of this tool, we're working everything from behind back here, and we're able to, you know, have pulls like this where it's I just used a couple fingers. So okay, so I think once this got hot and all the veins kind of quit touching the outside diameter, so you can see how much is gone off each one of these veins and how thin they are, that it spun a bunch of dust on the outside. And then once it, you know, we did get some water out of here, but there's a bunch of dust that's inside the bore of it, so we'll have to wipe all that out too. But I think as this is spinning, it's blowing all the dust off, and the dust kind of gets stuck there. And even with the water, it's still, there's not really anywhere for it to go. So before we put this back in, we'll go ahead and wipe the bore of that out. But what we're going to do now is take our hose clamps off, we'll slide this cooler out of the way, and then we'll get into, it might actually be right here. We might find all the pieces right here. So we'll start with this. So we'll slide this back out of the way, and then we'll see what it looks like here. So
yeah.
okay, let's take the other one down here, and we'll pull this way. So I know that one's a tube cooler, and this one just has a double wall, and the fuel goes through it to cool the fuel. So we'll do the same thing. We'll take our other boot off down there.
Oh, you find it? Yeah, that's what it says.
Maybe you can get it to spin off here, but I don't think. some.
Finding it?
I've got one little chunk came out of it. I gotta take this other boot. Off. So, took this off, and this is just a double wall, so the water flows through it, which goes to here, which is a tube style cooler, which makes it very hard for all the broken pieces to come out. So we'll just loosen this up and we'll try to tilt it down and get all the pieces out of it. And then we'll be able to see how clogged it is, because all those pieces have to go somewhere. Okay, so we got a hose. We're gonna back flush, try to get all the pieces out of here. Let's see how she does. I'm gonna just totally soak myself into it.
Don't soak me.
And the water's almost chlorinated. So we washed everything out and back flushed it. So now we'll go ahead and start reinstalling everything together. Put the one cooler back together, put this one back on, put our hose clamps tight, and then we'll go ahead and put our impeller back in.
Not that one.
Not that one, the good one. Okay, so we have our elbow back together, our adapter hose, all of them are tight, so you can see that all these little wave washers are all against each other on everything. You can also tell the rod protrudes through, so that's what keeps it under constant tension. So now that is all back together, we'll go ahead and take our new impeller, our new impeller, and we're gonna get all lubed up. And these ones, again, we can go ahead and twist it in with this blind, so we'll see how hard this one is today, because there's really not a whole lot of room in there. So we'll go ahead and make sure we get every one of the blades all nice and lubed up. Get the face, the other face. And we're going to go in and we're going to roll it in. That's the best way that I found to do it.